You're ready, are you?
I feel like I'm interrupting.
I'm sitting here all day having the chats.
I'm here today to talk to Miriam Smithers. Miriam is an artist based in Dublin, and Miriam, we're here today in your own studio where the magic happens. So thank you so much for having me here. It's a real privilege.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm delighted to have you.
I think when I look at your art, Miriam, there's a lot of people in your art, and it evokes a lot of curiosity in me, because I look at your art and I think, who are those people? Where are they going? What are they thinking? Are they having a bad day? And so, like, we'll say the people that you do feature in the art, are they random strangers to you, or do they have a story themselves?
So for me, like, I do take a lot of photographs. I go into town, I sit in town, and I would take a lot of photographs of people, random people.
Yeah.
But I do, for me, it's more like memory.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like it's when somebody looks at my work, it evokes a memory in them of maybe a place they've been, a street they were on, or that kind of thing, So it kind of evokes that. I think it's more of a memory for me rather than actual people and actual. They're not specific to anybody.
Okay.
They used to be. I have to be honest. They used to be. They used to be more kind of defined, and even the backgrounds. You'd know it was Paris, or you'd know it was London. You'd even know it was Dublin.
Yeah.
I'd have them much more specific. But now I much prefer the viewer of the work to kind of feel something in them when they look at the painting, and then it brings them back to maybe a memory or a place or somewhere they've been previously.
And did you always paint? Was this what you've always done?
I know. I mean, it's cliche, and I do think it's cliche to say that I've always loved painting and drawing, even as a child. But I think most creatives are like that anyway. It's like the time in primary school when they got out the crayons and the as we called it, mala. It's now plasticine.
Oh, I know it well. Mala,
But the mala,
yeah.
I just loved that, and I never wanted that part of school to end. And as we got older, we kind of lose that as kids. Like, and it's something I always feel really strongly about. As kids get older, that should be an important part of their education as well. That creative side of their brain, because it doesn't really leave you if you're that way inclined. And for me, I always did it. But I mean, I was an 80s kid, like as in I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
I didn't even think art college could be even on my radar
Yeah.
or on my trajectory, you know what I mean? So it was like, go get a job. I went to secretarial college. Don't ask me why, because my creative brain did not align. No, absolutely not. And and I remember going in and working as a secretary. I lasted 6 months. I got an offer to go and work in Awear at the time.
There's a blast from the past.
And
my God.
Yeah, and I left, gave up that, and I hightailed it. Gave up the secretarial and hightailed it over to Awear.
Well, at least there was creativity in that.
Oh, I first of all, I started off in Awear. I started off just at working on the shop floor. Then I became an assistant manager, and then from there I became the merchandising manager over time, obviously. But they saw something in me, I suppose, that creative gene, because I was always putting stuff together on the rails and always kind of moving the stock around and that kind of thing. So and I did that then for 12 years. Merchandising manager. And
were you painting in the evenings?
I was painting then. No, mostly drawing though. At that stage I hadn't really developed my painting side.
Okay.
And it was only then when I kind of had given up my career in Awear, when I had my third baby. And I became a stay-at-home mom then. I was a stay-at-home mom then for 12 years.
Yeah.
And it was in the last, I'd say, 4 years of that I started to do night courses, because I wanted to develop the painting side.
Okay, yeah.
And the minute I got into the oils, that was it. I was hooked. Yeah. And it brought me back, like I'm kind of going back then to memory. It brought me back to a time when I was only very young, and I think I was about 6 or 7, and I remember having the measles. It was either the measles or the mumps. In those days we didn't have the,
Yeah.
but it was, and my granddad came up and he had bought me a set of paint by numbers.
Okay.
And I don't remember, you know, the paint by numbers.
Yeah,
and they have
yeah,
these
yeah.
little tiny tubs. And I remember even as a young kid opening the tubs and smelling the paint and smelling the linseed and dipping my fingers in. Yeah, and I absolutely loved it. And then when I started going, and then of course that was left.
Yeah.
And then when I went back, when I was older and to those oil painting classes in the evening, that just all came swimming back to me. The love
Wow,
of that
really?
smell and the love of those oil paints, yeah. And so, yeah, I was
That was
hooked.
the
I
best thing you
hooked.
could have done, was go to those classes and to bring it all
Absolutely.
back.
Yeah, because I'm completely self-taught. I didn't go
Yeah.
to, like that. I didn't go to college for art, you know. So it was always in me. And when I went to those, it was Sue Carr, and I'll always remember she was the teacher in the Lucan Community College where I went and did the oil painting classes, and I did 2 lots of them. I went back the following year as well because I loved them so much. And yeah, and even to this day, she like, I mean, that was years ago. So that was even before I had my youngest child, who's now
Okay.
19.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen Sue in about 14 years, and she came to my last exhibition
Oh,
in the
really?
ODS, and I was like, oh my God,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh my
So it was great,
God.
and it was great for her. She's like, I can't believe you've come this far, Miriam, you know. So it was just, it was
That's
good for her
fantastic.
to,
It was lovely to see her again.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes you refer to yourself as the reluctant painter.
yeah.
Why?
It's because of the self-taught tag.
Okay,
It's that
right.
self-taught. I always have I'm always real. It's probably like that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm always kind of questioning, oh my God, should I be doing this? Do I really deserve this? You know, it's that kind of, I'm not as bad with it now.
Yeah.
But that's why there was always a reluctance of me to put my work out there. I'd be doing it kind of at home,
Okay.
by myself.
Yeah.
But I was always afraid, reluctant to show other people what I was at and what I was doing and what I was creating at home. You know
I
what I mean?
suppose it's a bit of a vulnerable moment too, though, when you kind of make that decision that you are going to show your paintings to other people, because you've put so much work into it, and there's probably a little bit of a fear that, what if they don't like it, or
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a bit scary, you know, and you've got that kind of thing on your shoulder going, oh, you know, oh God, you know, and you're waiting for the failure. You're kind of thinking
Yeah.
you're going to fail. It's just, you know, so, but
well, it
thankfully,
doesn't look
so
like you
far-
failed, so
Thank you very much.
you
Thank
could drop the reluctant word.
Do you know, it's kind of one of those, I kind of like it because I think I kind of find comfort in it, because
Yeah.
it kind of makes me remember that, you know, okay, it could all, you know what I mean? Nothing is,
Yeah.
it's still, I'm still fighting for it, I suppose.
I would say if you come across other people who are in your position, whether it's in art or whatever they want to do in life, but they just have this fear, as you said, like this imposter syndrome, like what would you say to your daughter, for example, if she decided she wanted to become an artist, but she just didn't have that self-belief?
Yeah, I think, well, the first thing I think it is trying to find that self-belief in yourself,
Yeah.
to shut out all the noise, really, to not listen to the noise and kind of go with your gut.
Yeah.
I'm a real believer in go with your first instinct, go with your gut. And that's kind of what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take a leap of faith. You just have to kind of go for it. And also, it's also consistency as well, though. It doesn't just happen either. You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
You have to show up. You have to do the work. It's not going to happen overnight. And I always remember Graham Nuttall. I don't know, you know,
Yeah,
the Irish
yeah.
artist Graham Nuttall. So I remember putting a post up one day, and I don't know Graham. I never had met him. I always loved his work. And he messaged me one day. I was looking for a bit of advice, and he messaged me privately one day, and he says, Miriam, the advice I would give you is to paint and draw every single day.
Okay.
And that's what I did. And so I would pass that advice. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you can paint and draw every single day, it creates that consistency, and
Yeah.
it's habit forming and habit building. And now, there's very rarely a day goes by that I
Okay.
don't paint or draw something.
Okay.
You know,
It's good advice, though. It's just that consistency is so important.
consistency, I think it's, yeah.
So you'd be known kind of mainly for painting people. Is that where you started out? Have you always been kind of, using humans as what's going on your canvas, or did you start somewhere else?
No, it kind of, I started initially with painting boats, ships, sea scenes, seascapes and sea scenes. And then I just kind of like that evolved into the people. I went off on a holiday to Amsterdam one time, and I remember seeing, it was actually a rainy weekend. Myself and my husband, well, then boyfriend, now husband, went off, and we, and I remember seeing people with these really, really colourful umbrellas. And I remember kind of, it had reminded me at the time of Renoir's Le Parapluie, that painting of Renoir's Le Parapluie and all the umbrellas. And I just loved, and so when I came back then, I remember thinking, okay, I'm done with the boats and the sails. I used to do kind of just like sailboats. Yeah. And I just put my hand, tried my hand at the people, and I have, I haven't looked back really. But I just think people fascinate me anyway. Yeah. And I always think I'm always fascinated with that concept of 6 degrees of separation. Yeah. As well. Okay. You know what I mean? So when I see people in a crowd and people walking down the street, I always say to them, I'm always thinking, two people, you could pass somebody. Yeah. And you don't know, but they'll know somebody that you know, and you don't even realise it. You know what I mean? You could sit beside somebody on the bus, and they might work with your sister. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it's that kind of thing. I'm always really fascinated with that, especially Irish people. I think we all have a very clannish kind of innate thing, so.
And do you think that, like, emotion plays a role in what you do? I know you kind of said that, when you look at photographs, or, people might think of a memory, but sometimes when I look at some of your paintings, I get a real sense of emotion. I don't know, it's like it's probably exactly what you're saying. It reminds me of a scene or a memory from my life, or do you think about that when you're painting? Are you thinking of a memory yourself?
Yes, I am, and I'm so delighted you said that, because that's what I try to kind of encourage in the paintings, or encourage people when they're looking at the paintings to kind of see something. And like for me, I love looking at art myself, you know what I mean? And I get moved by different people's work. And that's why I feel when you take away all the kind of detail in something, I think that's why myself, that's why I find abstract painting very, very emotive, like, because I think when you strip away all the details and all the noise and all, you can get right into the painting, and that's what I love. So you can, there's just a nod to the buildings, a nod to the people, and and that's why I think and I'd be quite an emotional person myself anyway. Okay. I could cry at everything. So I like to make people feel something when they look at the work,
So what's your routine when you come in here?
Oh, I start here. I am very, very disciplined. Okay. And that's the other thing I would say for anyone starting out. You have to stay disciplined. Yeah. I kind of looked, when I decided to take the leap of faith and go full time with this, which was 7 years ago, I knew I had to treat it like, it's a full-time job, and it had to be treated as so. So I come out here, I start at 9. I mean, that is a little bit flexible at times. I mean, some
I was going to say, really?
It's 9 o'clock, but I said no. So I could put the 9, so between 9 and 10 generally, but mostly 9, half 9, I would be out here starting, and I will work. I'll go back in, take my lunch from 12 to about 1:45, and I'll come back out and I'll work till 4.
And when you come in,
every day.
Like, so if you come in at 9, half 9, whichever it is, like, do you ever come in and have just creative block, or do you just power through it?
No, I get block quite a bit, and especially if you're trying to start something new, and you don't want to be repeating yourself, or you're just trying to think of a new concept or a new idea. But what I always use that time, and I think it's really important to use that time to do other stuff in the studio. So I might be painting, prepping the canvases, sanding them down, getting a base colour on. I always start with a base colour. Okay. Cannot work on a plain blank white canvas. Okay. Or I'm tidying up, fixing my paints. I'm a very messy painter. So when I finish in the evening, I literally down tools and go. Mm-hmm. So next morning I might kind of, empty my jars, clean up my brushes. Yeah. So I'm always doing something related to the work if I get a block like that. But it is hard sometimes. I mean, the worst block I got, I think it lasted about a week. I just couldn't. I was losing it. And when in those times, I have to say, like I have a very supportive family. I mean, I don't know how they put up with me at times, but you know, and they'd say, "Ma'am, come on, we'll go and have a coffee, or you need to get out of there. You need to come on. We'll just do some, take a break, you know." And generally, it always works. Sometimes you just need to step away and just...
That's it. Yeah, sometimes you need to just not put so much pressure on yourself to deliver when you walk in here. That's just something, you know, the inspiration might come from somewhere else.
Exactly.
What would you say is your biggest success in the art world to date, or it's something that you're kind of really proud of?
Oh gosh, there's been a couple, and like there's been a few things that have been really high, and you think kind of, oh, this is it, and then it doesn't happen. It kind of just, you know. So there's been a few little things.
Yeah.
I think the first major thing that happened to me was the Chuck Taylor All-Star. I had to design, there was 10 Irish artists picked by Converse, and we had to design a runner. Draw paintings on a runner, and I was so delighted to be one of those artists chosen, and and those runners travelled the country and everything, and they had a huge big block party in the Button Factory in Temple Bar, and there was a big launch night and everything. That was fabulous, and I was like, this is great. That was great. And then I did a whole big it was for the Christmas the run up to Christmas in Brown Thomas. Then I had to do, I was commissioned to do a load of illustrations for them for their Christmas, the run up to Christmas, their wrapping stations, their perfumes. Oh, it was fabulous. That was another big thing. And then after that, it was nothing. But I think the one that really sticks out for me is the Art Source in the RDS, which is a big show every year.
Yeah.
Not the one last year, not the one just gone last year, the one before that. I had a complete sellout.
Oh,
I just
wow,
sold
really?
every single painting.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that to me, I remember 3:00 on the Sunday afternoon, and myself and my husband were just sitting down, and I couldn't leave because it would have been very rude for me to just leave. But I was sitting there with no paintings on the wall, and I remember even selling that last painting, and it was a small little painting, and it was just sitting on its own. And this guy came around and he goes, "I'll take your painting." He says, I just want to have one. He says, it doesn't even matter to me what it looks like. I just want one of your paintings.
Oh my God.
And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. So I think that one, I think, was probably the one that impacted me the most. I was like, wow, okay.
How does that make you feel when, like, you know, we'll say taking that as an example, or even when you've got your work in galleries, people, you know, going back to the reluctant painter point, of like, people come in, they look at your art, it evokes something in them to want to actually take that home. How does that make you feel, that someone else is getting some meaning out of what you've done? Oh,
it's such a buzz. I can't even describe how that feels, actually. And it still makes me kind of go, pinch myself a little bit. Kind of go, wow, like, seriously. You know, I remember the very first time, that very first painting. I'll never forget selling my very first painting. And it was a little exhibition down in Lucan Village there. And it was a local parish church hall, and I had five paintings in it, and one of them sold, and I just could not believe it. And it was a direct result of doing those courses in the at night time. And I remember going, and my youngest, like that, he was 6 months old at the time, I remember thinking, oh my God, somebody actually wants to hang something of mine in their home. And I remember thinking, wow, it was such a buzz, because I think I always wanted to be an artist. I just never thought I kind of could be. Do you know? I always thought that was for, I don't know why I never thought I could. I think it was just all that self-doubt and just no confidence, and never thinking I was good enough. But not even realising that you actually don't have to be the best person in the room. You don't have to be the best at something. You just have to be good enough. You know what I mean? And you have to work on that, and like that, the consistency and the, you know, showing up every day, doing the work, because my work has evolved an awful lot from those years. You know, it's really come on, you know, and that's down to consistency and painting every day, for sure.
Do you have a favourite painting that you've painted, or are they all like, no, they're all my babies, I can't pick one?
I kind of go through phases of that, and I've had a few, and I've then let them go. But I do have one that I absolutely love, Rebel. It's there, and it's a painting, and it's I called it Rebel because it's actually it reminds me when I painted. I didn't start out painting this particular person, but I lost an aunt of mine at 49 years of age. She had cancer, and she was dying for 6 years. They had only given her 6 months to a year to live. She lived for 6 years.
Wow.
And when I painted the painting, it just reminded me of her. It looked like her, face, the hair, everything.
Yeah.
And she was a bit of a rebel, and I called it Rebel. So it's the one painting that I won't let go, and I'm going to rework it.
Okay.
You know, so that's my favourite painting. Yeah.
There's
so
a
I've
lovely
kept
story
it.
behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it means an awful lot to me. She was exactly 10 years older than me, and I was very close to her. Yes, think about her all the time. You know. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Has she popped up in any of the other paintings with an umbrella
No.
over her head or anything? No.
Not quite. She did pop up in another one, actually. I have it in my living room in there. I only have the print of it. I did sell the original. And she's sitting on a bed. It's a woman sitting on a bed with a towel in her head. And it just reminded me of when I used to go down to her flat and she'd have the towel on her head after. Yeah, we'd be going out, you know. So, yeah. So, a couple of things like that. But like that, I don't normally paint.
People you know.
No, not normally. Yeah.
Do you do commissions?
Oh, I do. I do a lot of commissions.
Right,
yeah, there's a lot. I get asked a lot to do commissions, and then obviously I would paint people that they know.
Okay.
You know, they'd send me a photograph or whatever, and I'd paint. That's what I'd paint. You know.
And how specific does somebody need to be if they're approaching you about a commission? Like, do they kind of tell you the scene that they want, who's in it, or do they just kind of say, give you very little and you just go use your own creative license?
Sometimes it depends. Like, I mean, I'm doing a commission for somebody at the moment, and they've asked me for a second painting, but they just want one of my other.
Okay,
so they weren't specific on.
Yeah.
Whatever. They says, no, I'll just take another one of your other paintings.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what one. I want to have another one, an
Yeah.
umbrella one. And then, but most people, they'd probably send a photograph and say, can you do this? Or can you incorporate that into the way your style of painting is? You know, because I'm not a portrait artist. That's a whole different technique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can certainly paint faces, but the likeness would not be there for me. You know, that's a pretty technical.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. Yeah. And I'm a very loose painter as well. You know, I like things to be loose. I scrape back. I apply the paint. I scrape back. I apply the paint. I scrape back. You know, so you know, there's a lot of happy accidents in my paintings as well. You know, so and they just kind of work out. You know, whereas portraiture is so, it's oh my God. I mean, it really is. It's fabulous to be able to do a portrait. I think you know it's real technique.
So what's next for you? What's coming up?
So I have from the 17th of August for 4 weeks. I'm artist in residence in the 59 Collective, which is a fabulous spot. It's in the Powerscourt Townhouse in town.
Yeah.
And I'm there for the 4 weeks. So with all my work, and I'm going to be live painting every weekend there. On the Saturday and the Sunday as well, and then kind of in line with that as well, across the road is Grogan's pub, one of my favourite pubs, and they're having an exhibition upstairs, and that'll be around that same time, so I'll have a bit of work in there as well. So I have a couple of things coming up, and then I'm working towards Art Source then in November as well.
Right, okay. So people need to get into Powerscourt and Grogan's to see your art. Where else can they see your art?
So I'm in a number of galleries around the country. So I'm in the Trinity Gallery in Dublin City. I'm in, I have to think about this now, I'm in Lahinch, which is Lahinch Art Gallery in County Clare.
Yeah.
I'm in the Whitethorn Gallery in Clifton in County Galway. And I'm in Draocht Adair in County Limerick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So a lot of paintings that you've brought out of this studio to fill those places.
Yeah. So it's, So
and your website as well. These
on my website. Now my website is actually, at the moment, it's under construction. It's there. You can see it at the minute, but we're actually working on it. I'm hoping to have it ready by the 17th of August before I go into the 59 Collective, because I have a few new prints coming online, and you know they're all getting scanned this week, and you know, so I have a few things coming up, because I don't really have a huge print collection, and I kind of feel now at this stage I kind of need to. People do ask, do you have prints, Miriam? Do you have prints? And if they can't get the original, they'd like to be able to buy the print, you know. So, and I was always kind of a bit funny with prints. There's a lot of work in prints, but kind of think it's my time now. I did,
and it's probably a more accessible point for, you know, for certain people who just want to have a really nice piece of art, but maybe they don't have the budget or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Because I would see that a bit in kind of the work that I do as well, just trying to squeeze in art in different rooms, and sometimes it might need to be a print, so it's...
Exactly. And sometimes prints, like I've a lot of prints in my own house of other artists, because I actually really like prints myself, you know what I mean? So sometimes...
Do you have your own art hanging in your own house?
I've one big, huge piece hanging in my living room.
Yeah.
I'll show you on the way out. And I love it, actually. And I had it, I only painted it last year, but it seems to work in my living room, even though the other side of my living room is it's very modern. Like, I love really modern contemporary stuff, you know. I have a couple like that. I have a couple of other abstract artists in the house, prints of, you know, can't afford the originals, but hilarious, you know.
Well, after all the shows you'll be doing, you'll be fine. Oh my God. Miriam, thank you so much for your time.
You.
It was lovely to chat to you, and it was really nice to see where
really
you do all your work. It's amazing.
Thanks
Thank you
very much. Thank you.